Okay, today we start with this topic the system. Topic today is system modeling. It means that we create design model for software, including the use case, diagram, class diagram, and sequence diagram. Here is the topic covers a context model, use case, interaction model, sequence structure model, behavior model, and model driver engineering. System modeling is the process of developing abstracts. Abstract means that it's a general structure of a system with each model present different view. Is different view or perspective of the system. We have different view, for example, view from customer, from developer. It's from the system or from the service. Different view. So we saw the general structure of system with different view. System modeling come to mean representing using graphical notations. It means that we use UML or graph to present the abstract structure. So UML is the most using language. The modeling will have the analysis to understand the function of a system and model you to communicate with the customer. As you know, customer not the coder. It means that they don't know programming language. So if you saw the customer with the code, for example, C# or Java, they don't know anything. They will confuse. They don't know anything about C# or Java. They just know graphical abstract. So hence, to communicate with customer, the analyst needs the UML model for diagram, system diagram, use case diagram to deal to confirm with customers. Existing and planned system model of existing systems are used during requirement engineering. Existing system used during requirement engineering. They have to clarify it make clearly what the existing system does and can be used as a basis for discussion its strengths and weakness. Uh, this from existing system, they will must create a little new requirement or requirement for new system. So this will help you to do in your project. If you don't know, you don't have any idea about the requirement, you have no idea. So how you can find the requirement for your project? For example, if I will look for, here is a list of projects, and for example, it's two. We have the app for deliveries. So how you can make requirement? You can use Google and find the app delivery. From this, it has now for apps you can look up it. You can see from screen and install your phone or install in your phone and look at this requirement, what they have done, what function they have, and by on this you can make the requirement for your own software. It's the same for delivery. So this is the skill or technique to make a requirement based on the existing system. Model of new system are due during requirement. To explain proposed requirement to other system stakeholder. Because system stakeholder it means that serve as a project manager, CEO, CTO. They will know the new system architecture of functions based on during the requirement. And you can use this design model for proposals. In model-driven engineering process, it is possible to generate a complex Bastille system implementation from system model, such as you have the class diagram. For example, is the user and public is the name and public a bus. From this user diagram, you can implement code easily. From system perspective, an external perspective where you model the context or environment of the system. It's the external outside system. At interaction perspective, your model interaction between a system and its environment or between components of a system. This diagram is a sequence diagram. You have, for example, it's between the component of the system. You have the system of database. This is one component, and system for business. Now, this one component, and you saw how these two components interact together for some tasks. This is a perspective. A structure perspective, where you model the organization of a system or structure of the data that is proposed by system. Behavioral perspectives, you model the dynamic behavior of a system or how it responds to its event. UML diagram types. It has different. It's at its previous lesson we had 13. The activity diagram, which shows the activity involving process or data processing. Use case diagram, which shows the interactions between a system and its environment. The use case, for example, is the admin, and the system function is delete. So it's the use case diagram. Sequence diagrams, which show the interactions between actors and the system and between system components. Class diagrams, which show the object classes in the system and the associations between the classes. It means the inheritance or associate. We have class user in the parent and some child. This is admin. State diagrams. It shows how the system reacts to internal and external events. So you state internal. It based on events. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 diagrams. We use graphical model. It means that if you learn graph theory, it has a vertical and the edge. The edge will connect vertical together. Is the graph theory. So from graphical model, it discussion about existence or global system, incomplete or incorrect model in our case. S0 is to support the discussion, so it's a safe incorrect model in graphical model. As a way of document an existing system, it means that you have the existing system. For example, is the now app, and you see the function. So you make the graphical model between this function. Model in this case, models should be accurate, represent our system, but do not need complete. It means that if you go to this app, you can list some function from here, but not complete. Some function you don't know, so it's acceptable. Add a detailed system description that can be used to generate a system implementation. Models have to both correct and complete. It's 3 levels. From first, it can be incomplete and incorrect. Second, it must be accurate, but can be incomplete. But lastly, the correct and complete. It's based on here is a detailed system, but here it just need a document for existing system, and here is a general idea. So seeing it's a general idea for seeing the first exercise. It is incomplete and incorrect is acceptable, but it must clearly. Let's first we explore the context model. The context model is used to illustrate the operational context of a system. They show that the line outside the system boundaries means that it is a user it not involve in coding. Social and organizations concerns may affect the decision on where to position system boundaries. It means that you need a social organization. For example, if you write an app for university, you must consider what kind of organization of this university is the UTS or another university. So you must be concerned. Architectural models show the system and its relationship with other systems. So in the architecture, it looks like a building. You need a frame. This frame will have to build the building. So here is the same architecture model. System boundaries. What is system boundaries? System boundaries are established to define what's inside and what's outside of the system. These are all the systems that are used or depend on the system being developed. For example, if you sell an app to delivery, so you must see what is inside, outside. For example, if you use Google Maps to find a address, it must be outside. But if you use payment from cards, it must be inside system. So boundaries means that way outside and way inside. The position of the system boundary has profound effect on the system requirements. Since Google Maps to show the address is outside, you don't care about how to display it, how to handle with maps. It's outside out of the control. Define a system boundary is a political judgment. There may be pressures to develop system boundaries that increase or decrease the influence of workflow of different parts of an organization. So here, if you define Google Map or map in the inside system, so you must develop a map, have a different map and integrate to the current system. So it's political. It will make pressure to develop a boundary. For example, here is the context of the main care system, one kind of application. So here it has the main part, it is main care. The inside system, it's based on record system. We also inside admissions, prescriptions, appointment, IC statistics, management reporting system. On this will make the system. So you define boundary. Here is the boundary. If you group some similar function to this packet or this packet, we call it boundary. Process perspective. Context model simply show all the system in the environment, not how the system to be being developed you in that environment. It just shows the context, shows the other model, not the coding. process models reveal how the system being developed using the broader business processes. UML activity diagram may be used to define business process model. We can use activity diagram to define the business process model. Here is one example for model of involuntary detentions. Firstly, this looks like the algorithm flow is star, and here is the endpoint. This start by confirm detention decisions, and his work into action. Here is a boundary. It separates two functions. It's information of right and record detention decisions. After that, they group to one system, and here is a comparison. If dangerous, if try this or not, if try this. Only this is a process, and this including in admission system, this including in main case, this will including in main case too. Here they combine into one component, and here is process in parallel. Parallel is three action parallel. This is a context model. Context model means that it defines the boundary between the component in the system. The next interaction model. Interaction model use interaction is important, and it helps to identify user requirements. It uses user requirement. It's modeling system-to-system interaction. Highlight the communication problems that may arise system-to-system. Modeling component interaction helps us understand if a proposed system structure is likely to deliver the required system performance and dependence. Here is use case diagram, and sequence diagram may be used for interaction modeling. The first we will consider is the use case modeling. Use case were developed original to support requirement, and now it incorporated into UML language. Each use case represents a discrete task that involves internal interaction with a system. Use case has actor, which symbol is the human side is actor. Actor is a use case may be people or other system is also the actor, or the system is also actor. Represented diagrammatically to provide an overview of the use case and its more detailed texture form. Here is an example of use case diagram and transfer data use case. In use case in main case system, here is a medical receptionist. She is use case, she is actor, and he is the actor. this actor is present for a human, but here is a patient record system in the DB database. It is not human, but we also use the sign of human to present the actor, and function is a ellipse. This guy ellipse, and its content is transfer data. It's a function. And after this diagram, you must include a tabular description of the function transfer data. So here you explain is a table. First, what's the actor? Here you have two actors, it's a medical receptionist and patient record systems BIS, and descriptions is explain the process in detail. So here you have explained a receptionist may transfer data from a main case system. Main case system is kind of application. Here is example. To a general patient record database that is maintained by a health authority. The information transfer may either be updated, personal information, for example, is address, phone number, etc., or summaries of the patient diagnosis and treatment. So this process it had two functions. First is update record for information, or it may be help to save diagnosis or treatment. After description, you must describe what kind of data. Data is a patient information, treatment, summary. It took two data. Stimulus is a user command issued by medical receptionist. Response is means that after the after this actor do the action, so what the response to this actor is a confirmation that BIS having updated. It's often when we log in. For example, you have the button is the log in. When you click, and it will display a message with the login successful. So this is a feedback or response, and here in this system the response must describe. And lastly, it comment. What comment about this use case is some note. First, the command receptionist must have appropriate security permission. It means that not receptionist, just some of receptionists has this permission to access the patient information and the BIS. So the command is a permission. It needs permission to do this function. He is describes the use case in men's care system involves the role of medical receptionist. Medical receptionist is a user or actor, and he has some function. For example, is register patient, unregistered patient, view patient info, transfer data, and contact patient is the function. Okay, today we just discuss about the use case diagram, and let's go to practice. In the practice, you will come back with your project. Here you have on your project. You have the first assignment. You must requirement and user from this. This is just the first draft version. You can update if you need, but I will use this submission to evaluate the first submit. But the next in this use case diagram exercise, you can update it. And how to make use case diagram? Here we have start UML. In start UML, you will and go to let's see where you stay. Okay, let's add use case diagram. You have this model add diagram. It has a lot of. In this case, we care about use case diagram. Use case diagram, you see it has the actor and use case with two main parts. You also use frame. Frame it marks the boundary. Here from come back to this slide, you see the terminology of boundary. Is boundary. It divides the system into separate components. So this component is boundary, as you can make boundary, and as boundary, for example here. If small system with no powers is skip it, and you create an actor and add an actor name. For example, here is the IC admin. All system have admin, and you add the admin user case, and add here use case for admin. You have one click in use case and draw it. First use case is delete user. Maybe smaller to get better interface. And another use case is a modify username. Here just example, maybe different in the after application. You have two use case and one actor, and you make the connection or association between this and association cases So from this diagram, we know that our system has one user is a admin. The admin has two functions: delete user and modify username. This first is a diagram. Second, you must write a tabular description of transfer data, or for each function you must write this kind of tabular. For example, let's discuss. I copy it and paste in the work. And make a new document. And first I will copy this diagram into this document. So let's copy or write export to export diagram as for example PNG. Save it. In use case diagram, change its name is a admin diagram. Okay, let's see. Admin diagram. Here we have admin diagram. It's some watermark, but no problem because we just use it for education, so it's okay. And we insert this diagram into document. Here's a diagram for admin. It unregistered in the watermark behind this, but it's acceptable, no problem. It's better than with you use correct software. Here we use free. We don't make a violent rule. The next is this table. Somewhere you must this is, so I copy it and decrypt in this. This first. This. Okay. Here we'll describe two functions. So first is a delete function. User is the actor. We have just one actor. It's the admin. Actually, if you delete user, it affects to another user is not more user. So I will try better here. It looks with same as this diagram. It interaction, transfer, or okay, let's try a better way. There is a list of functions of this user, and here is the transfer data between this user and here is a system. So let's draw it. Here is a select user and modify, and this draw another actor. Is the admin, and this system is a database, so we also have database. So it's the user record system. From this, it will interact by the function delete user. So I copy and paste. It has function is the transfer data, so let's add the directed association. And another is directed. From this, you know that when the admin deletes user, it will affect to user record system. And let's copy this diagram by export size. It has admin function and is planned for this. So maybe better if we create a new model add diagram. Use diagram. And from this, we only keep two diagrams separate and copy and paste here. Let's export. It is function for delete user. The function for delete user, and we add it into our document. And explain the detail of the delete function in this table. Here we have the actor is the admin and user record system. The description is means that what the function is this. So to make clearly layout. Okay, skill description. What happened? An admin transfer send the username to the user record system to with the command that delete this user from database. And the decryption for what delete user do. And the data is just only one data is the username. Stimulus is a how admin to delete user. It can be done by interface that including a username and delete button. You have the username and delete button. This kind of the interface, how interface stimulus it will send to system is interface including username and delete button, and respond after delete. What respond to the admin is the message that delete successful or fail. Fail means that what kind of errors. So command first. Command is a user admin must has permission to delete user. For some database in user record system, it not sets the permission for delete, so admin cannot delete it. First, it must have permission. And second, we will have some system. Here, for example, some system they also keep the records. But it says a flag to show that this user a delete on so this will apply in the database techniques. For example, that I show you. Here we have the user. It has the username. We have name and we have password. And you want flag it a delete to show that this user a delete or not. So if a delete is 1, it means that here delete user, or is 0 is the active user. So if you use this technique in a flag, you don't remove the record from the database, you just turn one flag to on or off. So it become a command in your system. You can command it for why you not delete, because when you need a recovering or some problem, you need backup and restore database. So it will help. It just for some system it's not common. So another permission you will add. So you make on the function for admin delete modifies in modify username and on off on the function for use case diagram. This is the second exercise for you into the next week. I will do it. But before do this exercise, you must next one is one note. Here's exercise. First, create GitHub for your project. Second, let's do this. Add my account. In copywriting, writing this is account x is gmail.com. Second, task plan for next 1 week. Implement what the use case diagram your group will do. And each use case you will attach the document to this diagram. So from that 1 and 2 you can reference from my tutorial video. I will show you here. This is too long video for the class is software engineering, but from your class is a software design. You must start from, let's see, where is this practice? Yeah. Is it I demonstrate how you can create a GitHub and my process for 1 week, what your task and what is the milestone for this task. So I will share it, start this voice and copy. I add it into our class. to GitHub. Okay, you can see here I will show in my GitHub project SE. I have one task is setting and manage access. US invite collaborator. We invite my name here, but carefully it is not my email. Is it my remember my email? And when it's for this, you have a project. For this project name, use your project name here. For example, if you implement project 1, use name it in this name it. So each project you have 3 tabs. It's done, to do, and problem. First, you create a to do. First is what's planned in next week between 2 or 3 members in one group. For example, it's you create a new task and add a task with, for example, is admin use K for delete user US is, and after create task, you a leader will change it into issue. Body you describe this and this convert to issues. When it has issue, click it and click into this issue. It has detailed information. And here it has a milestone start, so you click in this milestone. It has, in this case, you are new in this GitHub, you create a new milestone. Our milestone in next week is create on use K diagram, and click on this. You have milestone here, create on use K diagram, and click on this diagram. Is it a milestone? And to edit milestone, user K, user K. The day to finish is the next week. Here 13th. Description. Mark on use K diagram. Yeah. And cell chain. You can add another milestone for this week. You have assignment and add it request. I will check your project directly on this. As click on this milestone and it has one open issue. Admin use K delete. From this no user handle it, so you must assign one of your team member to do this task. Here is the list, so which user to do this task. And finally, when evaluate your final grade or the another grade, I will count which task and which user handle for this. I assign this task, and yes, as you can see, it can assign it, and this user will have responsibility to do this. And when you finish, you extract. Here is the document for this task. So how do that? You must use this document service. Address is user. So, and then you upload to in this so let's go through this project, and you need to upload your document into the project. So I upload it by the command. I go here in project SE. It has readme and man. Here readme and man. I create a new folder. It's a report. And from it I add the new report here, download and delete user here to this report. I boost this document to server, let's cmd, and git add git commit. I commit is a use case for delete, and I boost it. Origin and the brand of the main brand. When finished, I refresh by, and you see one report, and here delete user. So in this case, I copy link address and come back into the issues. I have one issue. It is the admin use case here. So I comment is the document for this task and comment. When the leader sees this document is done or finished, you can close the issue. And when close the issue, it shows that this milestone is finished. But actually, milestone is not finished. It has more than. Let's come back into milestone. Let's project name. Here we had this finished, so the team leader will move it into the done task. If this task have problem, you move it into problem, and I will come back and see what kind of problem and help you with the project. And as the leader or add another use case, it admin is the modify username, add it same convert into issues, and body convert, click and assign it for assigning who will do it, and label just for the task, the document, and project milestone. You choose milestone. He also create on use case diagram milestone, so click on this. This is diagram. So here's the milestone. It's just a half because we had 2 tasks and finish the first task. It's the admin use case. The second is the modify, and add on the use case diagram into this. Okay, so this is the first as the second exercise just by on the GitHub, and I will, when I come back to this project, I will evaluate for each group by on what file you upload in project, what task you have done, what problem, and what plan you do in your group. I will evaluate this, all of this. So when I click into this, I go to full, and I check the document here to see what to do. So it has on the history, who we create, what we, and so this for the second exercise. I will post the video into the LMS for your reference.